Andrew. I always look forward when you actually visit us because, you know, it's like a once a quarter type of thing.
Mr. Walker, are you going to the game?
I am.
Who you got? Who you got tonight?
So I root for all DPS students equally.
I like that. I don't play you are. Ask me to announce the kids, and I'd be like, I don't think they want me to do that because I'm not going to get hyped for this.
Mr. Walker, you playing into that? You already know what it is.
Hey, I took the political route.
You already know what it is.
When Meadowdale played their first city title in a while, I was definitely on Meadowdale's sideline running up and down.
Facts. I saw you. I was there.
Dr. Morris, are you going?
Yes, I am.
Are you rooting for Dunbar?
Yes.
Mr. Lacey, you going to the game?
If we can get out early.
That's up to you and Walker.
No. That is you.
Whoa.
I have ended my discussions. You at 7 minutes max. So I don't even need to call on you tonight. Y'all heard him. Right?
Right.
Don't call on him. You don't have
My
nothing
bad, Sid.
I trust my staff here.
Board Member Walker, did you get that HBCU stuff? Did we send that to you? Thurgood? I think you might have asked Willie Walker.
Oh, yes, I did. Hey, there is a, I'm meeting with Central Students Director. They do something at Columbus where they say for one school that all single-phase services are there. It's like
Madam Treasurer, are you going for Dunbar or Belmont today?
one track.
Tissue. Okay.
Yes. You're welcome. Here, take an extra two.
Y'all came up too high.
Belmont.
Go for Belmont?
You know what's getting ready to happen tonight, right?
I'm about to call.
Just do it. You're fine.
She a prophet. She a prophetess. I'm sick of that.
Brother Smith, you going for Dunbar or Belmont tonight?
Yeah, so I'll try to set something up. I'm out of it.
I'm going for a Dunbar win, and then Meadowdale gonna beat Dunbar next week, and it's gonna be a tie. I mean, Meadowdale gonna beat Dunbar next week.
Meadowdale gonna be who?
Dunbar.
If Meadow,
I'll give up my spot on the board.
Meadowdale beat anybody.
Are we going to have an early meeting for Meadowdale?
No, absolutely not.
No, I'm over by about 6. Nah, Meadowdale gonna beat Dunbar.
They're not the mix,
Telling you.
Mr. Lacey. They're not the mix.
You gotta speak light.
Watch, I'm gonna be there. I'm announcing the game.
Oh, okay.
We're doing senior night.
The policy only has
Who
been
is that?
completing.
No, I'm Will Smith.
Doesn't say it has to be online or in public.
How you doing, Miss
Okay.
Leslie? You going for Colonel White tonight?
I don't think
Oh, that's right.
He would have
Because I think the format, the forms are still sitting back there.
Right, I'm thinking the electronic form.
Yeah, if we pull it, if they pull it, or if they add on there.
I do too.
That's usually what
We would
they
have to
say.
put on it.
Yeah, with his bison.
I just think that's a conflict of interest that
Anyone wanting
Dr.
to
Bailey
speak
is openly
must
rooting for.
sign up 5 minutes before the meeting or something like that.
I mean, I think, does it say that we will, when we stop
Did you go to
accepting
Belmont?
Oh, well, wait a
submissions
minute. No.
at the beginning of the
Who's doing
meeting?
your first?
Electric submissions will only be used
All
during
Falcons,
remote
baby.
meetings.
Okay.
So,
Then they shut us down because
Okay.
we're so good.
So you was at Rockford?
Does it say when we will stop accepting submissions though? Like, does it say at the beginning of the
They
meeting?
switched it over though.
Or should we
Oh,
say,
they shut us
He
down.
just
we
read-
change
It
the
was
policy
a
saying,
couple of years
we can accept
before the middle
submissions
school
up to
started.
the point of,
You was there when they shut it down, period, and then they went to middle school.
Participation.
I went to Carolina
It's
and
not.
Dunbar.
So you was freshman that year too?
It's quite warm in here.
It is. Yeah, it does not say.
Actually,
You're not a Rolf Falcon. You
Actually.
graduated from Youngboy.
actually.
And you did not know varsity letters from Rolf, so you're not really
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
He did.
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did.
He was walking around school like he man on campus.
Don't play. Do not.
Mr. President, we are 1 minute past. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know she was back. All right, here we go. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Call to order for Dayton Public School Board at 17:01. Roll call.
President Bailey,
Here.
Dr. Goodwin,
She has an excused absence.
Mr. Lacy,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
I am present.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Present.
Mr. Walker,
Present.
Ms. Garrison,
Present.
Ms. Woods,
Present.
7 present.
We already passed it. Yeah, we
Pledge of allegiance.
I would like to put in a request for a new dais.
Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower. Our vision is to inspire, educate, and empower scholars for a lasting impact. And our purpose is to cultivate a supportive and engaging educational experience.
District events.
That's it. We are excited for, is this year 3 of debate, or this is year 3, right?
3.
Yep, year 3 of debate. And it gets better each year. This year, our first round will take place at David H. Ponitz, February 19th from 5 to 6 o'clock p.m. I encourage the viewing audience and members of our staff and other students to come out to see the debate. It really is a special event. The finals will be in April. I love the jackets. I love the debate itself. Students prepare, and it's always an opportunity to see them, see us give them an opportunity to give feedback instead of being in the hallways, right, Nevada? That's right. Dayton Speaks is also one of our events. MLK Oratorical Poetry Slam. This is a super, super, super exciting event. You see talent from students that you didn't even expect. We've seen kids come out. I didn't even know that kid was speaking, and they come out and they're part of the Oratorical Poetry Slam. So we look forward to that. And it's on Thursday, February 26th from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Wright Brothers Middle School in the auditorium. So Dayton Debate League, Dayton Speaks, those are our district events for February.
Dr. Lawrence, did Dayton Speak take the place of the Lucy May speech contest?
No,
So that's a separate thing.
Yeah, we can't.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
He don't got bars like that. He don't know.
I do Dayton Speaks. You guys should totally come and support.
You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but you, I think you won. You won last. You won. Actually, you won 2. We were first in one and second in the other.
Every year, but last year I won first place.
Yeah. So that's right. You. I saw that. Yes, I did. Ms. Woods, would you like to? I mean, we're going to have the event again this year. Maybe we could have a celebrity board member as a Dayton Speaks. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay,
I think so. I think so.
We have one here who loves to speak. Okay, moving on.
All right, now we can
Dr.
get it
Bailey?
started.
Department presentation.
Andrew. I always get excited seeing Andrew because it's like a once a quarter type of thing.
A quarter.
Once a semester.
However often it is. Good evening, everyone. I think this is my first time in the new year being here. So I'm Andrew Mack, and I'm budget director if you haven't seen me before. And tonight I figured it'd be a good idea just to give a little overview of school finance, kind of go over like our accounting principles and stuff behind it, and more specifically dive into like estimated resources and kind of how we go about getting our like budgeted expenditures or appropriations. So first up, if you want to scroll down a little bit, there we go. So all schools, pretty much every government's on fund counting. A lot of stuff to do with funds. A good general idea is the idea of a bucket. So think of funds as like different buckets. Different buckets have different purposes. Some are more restricted than others. For example, our general fund is pretty unrestricted when it comes to us spending money. That means we can do almost whatever we want to with it for the operations of the school, whereas like our grant funds might have more restrictions placed on them federally or by the state, where we can only spend it on certain reasons or that. So pretty much all of our accounting structure is given to us by the auditor of states. They give it to us in the uniform school accounting system. So any of our funds, our functions, our object codes, or how we spend money is kind of already given to us by the state, and how we account for that information. So really we're just making it go in the right place. So move on to the next one. So first up we have our fund breakdowns. I gave a little bit of an overview just of all our funds together, and the idea of appropriation, which is what you all approve every so often at the board. And really the appropriation is our budgeted expense. It's the money going out, what we're spending money on. So I summarize kind of all our different types of funds. The first one, our general fund, that's our largest. That's where we do the majority of all our operation spending from. Then you go down the list, we have special revenue funds. Those would include any of our like grants or anything. So all the title funds, all that good stuff. Then we have our debt service fund, what we pay our debt out of. Then we have capital project fund, so anything like major construction or like HVAC projects or anything, we have two of those, that's 003 and 070, comes from there, and it's restricted just to those big capital projects. Then we have enterprise funds. So enterprise funds kind of act, we get money in, it goes out for the specific reason why we got that money in. So our largest one of those is our food service fund. We get money from the federal government. We get receipts in from school lunches and stuff, and it goes into that fund and then out that fund as well. Then we have our internal service funds. So that's all our like self-insurance that we collect money for, and we kind of hold it until it has to go out for like claims or anything like that. Then we have trust and agency funds. So if we were to ever get like a major trust or anything in, that goes there. It's restricted to just those purposes that are set up in specified like agreements and stuff. Then our agency funds, there are anything like money that we collect that we're not actually, that we're essentially holding on behalf of somebody. So we have like student activity funds where we'll collect money for like specific student activities, but it's up to the students who like spend that money and everything down. So moving on then, we get into our general fund budget, which I wanted to highlight because it acts a little bit differently than the rest of our budgets. A lot of our different funds have their own budget process, but our general fund being our largest works a little bit differently in terms of how we budget it. So especially now as we're getting into like the major budget push season for next year, I wanted to give you guys kind of a peek behind the scenes here. So our general fund is set up by department. You have different stuff for buildings, and then you have all our various departments and central services, and kind of what they spend money on. So it's really up to the departments on how they want to spend money. What we do in budget is we get a priority listing from them for their staff and as well as their like different contracts, and it's all ranked by priority. So like one might be your, this is legally required for us to provide the students and stuff, and then it goes up from there of like, hey, we could go without this if possible, but we would really like it for our students. And we kind of compile that and everything, and then business manager, superintendent, treasurer kind of review that, see how it fits within our revenue and stuff, and gets a final version together. And then that's all what's presented with the rest of our funds in either May, April, or at the latest June for the following year. So I broke a quick chart down just so you can see kind of how our appropriation set up just for the general fund. High-level departments, you can see regular instruction, and then going down the list there, all the way down to our fixed costs that we budget for, just like utilities and stuff. That gets us our total general fund allocation currently for this year for our appropriation at $280 million, which is important to note because the next slide we'll talk a little bit about our estimated resources, which is our money coming into the district and our revenue. So our estimated resources is that other sheet you get whenever you approve the appropriations every couple months. So if the estimated resources change or the appropriation change, you all have to approve it. So the estimated resources is really just taking our ending cash balance at the end of last year plus our expected revenue. So that includes our property tax, and pretty much everything else we get. And it's organized kind of the same way by fund level. And then that totals together to get our estimated resources. An important thing to note is our appropriations can never go above our estimated resources. We have to have the money or the money expected to come in order to spend it. So you can see it's separated the same way, general fund all the way down to trust and agency, and kind of the totals there. If you want more detail, it's later on down with the certificate. Then moving on, I wanted to talk about some of the major revenue sources we get. The three major ones are definitely the state foundation, our property tax, and state and federal grants. Now this is spread out across all our different funds, and I gave percentage breakdown for each type of the revenue. So our state foundation is anything that like the state gives us for like our enrollment for our children, and anything else that the state gives us for like career tech or anything like that's in that state foundation. Then we also get property tax from the county. Those are our two largest, and then we get our state and federal grants, specifically from like your title grant and everything like that. Some of our smaller ones are like our homestead and rollback, some of our earnings and investments, and then everything else makes up around 3%. Like our tuition, other donations and stuff, we get just some miscellaneous items there. Then finally on the last slide, I just put on some Ohio Revised Code sections, some of the legal things to be in mind when we're looking at the budget. The first one is we have to approve either a temporary or a final appropriation by the start of the fiscal year, so June or July 1st. If it's temporary, then we have to have the final one approved by the first day in October there. Next is just our legal level minimum of control, which essentially states our appropriation. The minimum we can have it at is by fund level, our general funds by department, but for the most part, fund levels are our minimum that we can have. Then the last one is just that total appropriation can't go above our estimated resources there. So, any questions?
Any questions? Joe?
I mean, we appropriate the general fund by, not by department, but by like, what is it, function or?
Department.
Yeah, it's kind of set up where we have like the various departments and stuff, and then some stuff's for like supplies and materials for school buildings and stuff like
It's
that.
like 30 different lines
Yep.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact name of
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yep.
That's all I really know. The number for the resources, that's 2026. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so the numbers I had on there for estimated resource and appropriations, that's this year's. We're currently in the process of our like overall budget cycle here. So come April, May, or at the latest June, you should have next year's broken down to how it usually is and everything.
And the pie chart numbers are also 26.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you for the report.
Yes. Thank you for your report.
Cool. Thanks.
Appreciate you. Instructional insight.
Dr. Bailey, thank you so much. We are going to give a brief overview of pre-K through 6. Chief Judah Spurlock will go first, and followed by Mr. Bashar Simmons, secondary schools.
Good evening, President Dr. Bailey, members of our board, Treasurer Abraha, and Superintendent Lawrence. After a strong elementary showing from every building at the district science fair, elementary schools are gearing up to prepare our students for their building speech contests and math Olympic team practices to be ready for our district competitions. We are also holding career awareness programming, academic-focused family nights with reading and math in alignment with our AAP as our focuses. We actually have 2 elementary schools that have completed their murals, but we have every elementary art teacher and their 6th grade students working with 2 artists, Tiffany Clark or Chris Rowland, to create an art mural for their school that they create and design and paint. We are very happy to announce that Bellhaven and Louise Troy have fully completed their murals and are ready to unveil. Bellhaven Bobcat students created a mural featuring their message that Bobcats are known by the tracks that they leave. Louise Troy mural features the skyline of their community with highlights of Louise Troy and Dunbar. Many more are in various stages, from planning to design development, so we can't wait to really see them all. Elementary school teams have planned wonderful Black History Month celebrations, academic activities, and programs. Highlights include musical and dance performances, and a special highlight, we have many schools doing living wax museums, which is an immersive educational experience where students embody pivotal Black historical figures, transforming themselves into living statues ready to share their stories. And they were amazing last year, and we can't wait to see those again this year. Finally, Dr. Lawrence has given a challenge to excel student learning and achievement. Our elementary principals, as the lead learners, are focusing on the essential standards, high yield strategies, leveraging all the resources of our curriculum with an intentional focus on literacy, writing, and math to excel our students and get them ready to show what they know on our OST, our maps, and actually, really, basic line is demonstrating the skills so they can get ready for their next grade level or their next adventure in life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share some instructional insights for secondary schools. I'm going to start at Wright Brothers Middle School. 9 students completed College Promise interviews. OSU Scholars applications are underway. The informational is this Thursday, February 12th. 8th grade students are participating in a law and leadership lesson in social studies classes this week also. At Waldman, 2 students placed second in our science fair with superior ratings, and they are also interviewing for College Promise. At Ponitz Career Technology Center is celebrating a major national recognition in their business pathway. 3 students competed in the Business Professionals of America Financial Portfolio Management Team's national event and placed 6th out of 208 teams nationwide. The students managed a simulated $100,000 investment portfolio, making strategic decisions under real-world market constraints. The team advanced to the second round of the finals and will present a 10-minute defense of their strategy to the judges on February 18th virtually. Special thanks to Kevin Keener for coaching the team during lunch and sharing his expertise. It was instrumental in this process. At Edwin Joel Brown, very excited about this as well. Edwin Joel Middle School continues its focus on high-quality instruction and the portrait of a graduate. In science, students are studying phase changes through the Amplify curriculum. Following the unit, students were engaged in a 2-week engineering design challenge to create incubators modeled after the Safe Haven baby bird boxes. To build background knowledge, students incubated quail eggs in the classroom. The incubator was set up on January 15th with 32 eggs, and when the students returned, they had successfully hatched 18 quail eggs. Students calculated hatch rate, percentages, and connected temperature regulation and phase changes and the engineering design to real outcomes. The project supported the portrait of a graduate traits including critical thinking, collaboration, responsibility, work ethic, and communication. With parent permission, several of the students took quails home. And that's an extension of the learning beyond the classroom. At Thurgood Marshall STEM School is celebrating several positive developments as well. Due to semester block scheduling, students completed a full OST administration in December. Proficiency rates in math, science, and social studies increased as compared to last spring. The Black Boys in Tech program began on February 10th with freshmen receiving makerspace training and serving as assistants. The school's makerspace is located in the library and will open in March for teachers to schedule project-based learning. Their after-school STEM engineering club will begin this week, February 23rd, providing hands-on experiences for STEM careers as well. At Dunbar, junior Albert Powell earned first place at the District Science Fair, marking Dunbar's second consecutive first place win. 13 new students were inducted into the National Honor Society, bringing the total chapter membership to 27. And the girls basketball team are back-to-back city champions, and one senior has received a full ride scholarship to Rio Grande University. At Stivers School of the Arts, 82 student writers earned Scholastic Awards in 2025. Stivers placed in the top 25 of approximately 100 teams at the Xavier University Stock Market Challenge. Stivers dancers participated in the IABD Dance Festival in Atlanta, Georgia, and one senior has earned the prestigious National Coca-Cola Scholarship. The Freshman Academy.
Before you move on, can you say that again?
Which one senior has earned a prestigious National Coca-Cola Scholarship.
Thank you. I just wanted.
Okay.
Thank you, Brother Walker.
Okay. And several 8th grade students competed at the Wright State University Math Counts competition, earning Most Improved Team Award. Lastly, at Meadowdale on Wednesday, February 11th, during 7th period at 2:15, Meadowdale will host a National Signing Day ceremony, recognizing approximately 5 to 6 Mighty Lion student athletes who will be signing their letters of intent to continue their academic and athletic careers as college football players this fall. This moment represents years of perseverance, discipline, and commitment, not only on the field, but also in the classroom. Principal Davis would love and be honored by your presence as they celebrate the students' academic achievements and reinforce the importance of academics, character, and this opportunity in athletics. We are so proud of the hard work and commitment our students continue to demonstrate across this district. Their achievements reflect their dedication to learning and growth. We want to continue this momentum into third quarter and fourth quarter. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I love hearing about those Lions.
Yes, Dr. Lawrence, those were great updates. I know some of which are in the newsletter. Do we publicize that on? I know it goes out via mail. I know we get them as residents as well. But is it posted on a website as well, where we could people can go there and look at the newsletter to see all these great achievements?
The student achievements are, but not the newsletter itself. So what I typically write to you all is the focus on the students. That part always is the public is able to see, and we add other events to that. Then we also send it out to the entire district in a weekly newsletter via text.
So, but the instructional insight we just received is not?
No, that is not it's not on the website.
Okay. If we could maybe look at if it's advantageous for us to have that. Because I think when people are looking at DPS, they need to see these, successes.
Thank you for that. We would definitely take that into consideration. And I want to just add, thank you, Board Member Walker, for actually stopping Mr. Simmons and having him go back and repeat that. Mr. Walker was a student at Thurgood when we had Colonel White / Thurgood when we had Coca-Cola Scholars. I would let the viewing audience know that, to put it in perspective, there are only 150 of those scholarships given out in the nation. 150. So thank you, Ms. Garrison, because I think what you're saying is we should tell that story.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So that's a big time award. Thank you for having him go back and repeat that.
Just want to, Thurgood does have the most wins of them right now, so.
Well, I mean.
Just. Before you and Ms. Goins start, we know.
What can I say?
I didn't have anything, sir. I just,
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
brevity.
All right. Thank you for your presentations. Hearing from the bargaining units. Anyone from the bargaining unit?
Yes, we have one.
From the bargaining?
Bargaining units?
Oh. Okay.
All right, from the public, limit remarks to, do we have it? Do we have anybody? Or is-
We have one.
Okay.
Is the person here?
Limit remarks of 3 minutes. The president has the discretion to extend the time. When your time is up, you are to stop speaking. It is inappropriate to address any matter involving pending disputes, grievances under a labor agreement, disciplinary action involving an employee or a student, ongoing labor negotiations, concerns, or matters that have already been settled, and/or any matter which, because of its nature, is deemed appropriate to be discussed in an executive session. The purpose of the public hearing portion of the meeting is for members of the public to express viewpoints and public concerns. Do we have anyone?
Jacob Berluck. Jacob. Jacob
Once,
Berluck.
going twice. All right, Superintendent.
Thank you, Board Member Bailey. I would like to ask if you would take my recommendations in total, B through G.
So moved.
Second. Any questions or concerns?
Yes, I just would like to pull B1 till after exec.
All right. All right, move forward.
You can make noise.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, briefly, sir. I see that we have a head baseball coach over at Thurgood. Just quickly, I'd like to ask, do we know where they will be able to play? I know I've been hearing and seeing some issues with the field over at Thurgood. Do we have an idea of what we're going to try to do there?
Good evening. We're working with AD Petty to identify that. Obviously, we have some reconstruction going on with Kettering Fields. Typically, sometimes too, we share fields within the district, so we're still trying to get a handle on that. But it is definitely some conversation. Obviously, throughout the years, because of the drainage at that field, it's going to cost too much. So that's the challenges with that.
Okay, and I know we've had the partnership with the city. Is there any possibility with us using any of their fields that they have?
Well, right now, they are in transition with leadership for that department, so they're trying to see where we stand with the construction piece with the city, because we typically do use their spaces.
Okay. All right, appreciate that.
I do have a question. It's a long shot. Is it possible to do a game at Dragon Stadium?
Yeah, that's definitely a long shot.
Hey, listen.
But it's not a shot that I hadn't asked, so
Okay.
I will look into it. But
Appreciate
it's a long
it.
shot, though.
Or
they do
Because
have
I know
some
you
days
like
there.
to hold me to stuff, so.
I'll even take UD's field. They got two nice ones over there that maybe we can.
Well, we've been better with relationships with there, so
Yeah.
I'll talk to Scott the Boat to see if that can work. That might be more realistic for us,
Perfect.
probably.
Appreciate you, Chief.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief Jones.
All right.
I do have one. Just a brief on the math counts coach, on what that actually is.
Where are you? Which one? ABs?
I think it's a supplemental, I think.
F8 and F9.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Dr. Sheehy is on her way.
So, with our Math Olympics, we've extended it so that the students have coaches and compete more than just that one event. And we've gone into using Math Count. So it's a company, they have curriculum, they have competitions. So we wanted to extend that with our focus on math.
Perfect. Okay, appreciate it.
I like that.
Good question.
Anything else?
I'll save my other questions for our student after-school activities and workforce committee.
Call for a vote?
Did we motion?
Oh, no.
We did.
President?
Yep.
President Bailey?
Yes.
We did.
Mr. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt?
Yes.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Garrison?
Yes.
Ms. Woods?
Yes.
7 yeses.
Dr. Bailey, I recommend the approval of the following after July 10th resignation.
So moved.
Second. Questions, concerns?
President Bailey?
I'm still waiting on questions or concerns. Nothing? All right, call for a vote.
President Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Lacy?
No.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Reinhardt?
No.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Garrison?
No.
Ms. Woods?
No.
2 yeses and 5 no.
I would ask the board to take a look at the budget information. We have had several extra finance meetings, and on our side, well, we're on the same side, on the academics and treasury and operations, several additional budget meetings, in addition with some also board member briefs as it relates to the budget information. But I would ask you to take a look at that, and if you have any questions, the treasurer and I are available.
I do have a question.
Yep.
So if I'm looking at the budget information from our December meeting compared to the budget information today, December it said that we had 916.5 actual field teacher positions out of the 928. This one says we have 887. I don't think we've had that many resignations that's come before us, so is that just a typo?
I saw an email from you earlier asking for the number of field teacher positions.
Yeah.
I have to ask the HR department to consolidate that for you and get that back to you.
Okay. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. Dr. Bailey, I'd ask that the board take a look at contracts and consultants together.
A through E is, or A through D is just review, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am.
I know that A through D are planned to be just for review. Item C, however, is a change to a previously approved item. It was previously approved on January 20th. Is there any need for this to be considered for a vote today to make the travel arrangements a little bit easier? Is there anybody that we can ask to see if this is time sensitive? Since it was previously approved.
Is anybody opposed? You can vote on that today? All right. Do you have to make a motion for that?
I am willing to make I move to approve 7C.
I'll second.
Call for vote.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes?
Mr. Smith,
All right, yep.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods,
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reiner. D is, I want to answer this publicly. Thank you so much, Ms. Garrison, for the question. This is a long-running dispute with ASME in terms of how we take out union dues, and so it's a technical issue. So we solved the technical issue, came up with what the total was, worked with Frost Brown Todd, the treasurer Abraha, and I did, and we negotiated a deal that both sides thought was agreeable, and we wanted to have it on for you all to take a look at today. And then the calamity days, we're working with Frost Brown Todd and all 13 unions. We would be the Treasurer's Office, Business Service Division, and myself to develop a unified base contract, not for all 13 units, but things around corrective action, calamity days, discipline, other things that we want to have be universal so that we don't have to look at all these contracts and become more efficient. So this is a resolution paying certain groups that would not have been paid because we had that historic storm and we exceeded the 5 calamity days. I think we're up to 7 now, and that got past the number of contract days in which they'd be paid. So I asked the board now, this time, one time only, because we'll be having a uniform contract pretty soon, but to be able to fill in the gaps for those locals that didn't have the same coverage as the other collective bargaining units.
Any questions?
So I just want to separate the two out. So one is for us to do the action on E and F. D is not for anything until next week.
Yeah, D is next week.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually E, because Treasurer Abraha, isn't the pay cycle starting? Do we need that today, or can it wait till next Tuesday?
No, we need
Yeah,
it today.
yeah, that should be, yeah. So E has got to be for a vote. D is just next week.
Okay.
Okay.
So I make a motion to accept superintendent recommendation E and F together.
Thank you.
I will second that.
Go ahead.
Say-
Call for vote?
He said E and F.
E and F.
E and F.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes?
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
and Ms. Wood.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Dr. Bailey, that concludes my recommendations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Treasurer's recommendations?
Okay, tonight I have a presentation for the financial forecast. Sharice, if you can put that forecast presentation for me. Okay. This financial forecast is for February. It is a new one. My laptop is going crazy. I don't know what to do. I changed.
You all look good.
I did. Okay, I'll go. Okay. Okay, this forecast is according to the requirement, according to the ORC and the OAC. HB 96, current state budget, changed the dates and the years of the district forecast submission. HB 96 requires Board of Education to submit a 4-year projection of operational revenue and expenditures along with the assumptions to ODE before October 15 and an update February of each fiscal year. Again, this year for 2027, they changed it. They moved it to August 31st and February 28th again. Required funds are general fund, special cost, any special cost centers associated with general fund money. Emergency levy, which is Fund 016, debt service activities that would have been gone through general fund. Our district will continue. We decided to continue with the 5-year forecast for planning purposes. The requirement is 4-year only. Purpose and objective of the forecast: to engage the Board of Education and the community in a long-range planning and discussion of the issues facing of the district, to serve and as basis of determining the school district's ability to sign the 412 certificate, to provide a method for the Department of Education and the Auditor of State to identify school districts with potential financial problems. Key line items for the district are divided into two: revenues and expenditures. District revenues is made up of two main categories, which is local and state funding. Expenditures are mainly salary and benefits, purchased services, and supplies and materials. New legislation targets property taxation. Governor signed into law 4 pieces of legislation in December 19, 2025, and takes an effect in March 19, 2026. These are HB 129, 186, 309, and 335. HB 129 adds to fix some levy types 20 mil floor calculation. This, though, for us, for Dayton Public School, should not impact our district. We are not on a 20 mil floor, or our levies are continuing and are affected by HB 920. HB 186 caps revenue growth to inflation for 20 mil floor school districts and adjusts credits. No authoritative details on amounts from Department of Taxation until April. Our forecast is now. HB 335 caps revenue growth to inflation for inside meal for all entities. This is very bad. HB 309 allows county budget commissions to reduce or override voted levies for school districts to limit collections. This is likely to be implemented unequally statewide for 88 county budget commissioners. October forecast versus February. Really, we didn't have that much change. It's very minimum, less than 200,000. We are filing it at this time because it's a requirement to file. Okay, now we'll go to this slide. This slide tells us a lot. This is a shot of the forecast and assumptions. It's going to be approved later after this presentation. But if you pay attention to the red fonts, and as you can see, those ones are comparing revenue with expenditure. And when you compare that, we are spending more than we are bringing. That's one issue. But, by the next one is ending cash balance at June 30th. The requirement is we don't show the third year negative cash balance. So we are showing on the fourth year, which is okay for right now. The last one is unreserved fund balance, the bottom of this one. So we are operating in a positive for the next 3 years, but we're going to go in a deficit the fourth year. Next. This one estimated general fund revenues for fiscal year 26. Where do we get our money? Most of our money is state foundation, 59.1%. Other state, 2.9%. That is a tax, but it's paid through the state. That's the reason why we're separating it. Real property tax, 26.5. PAP tax is 5.4%. And other is 2.7% of the revenue. The other is mostly the interest income we make from our investments. Let's go to the next. The next page it shows local revenues versus state revenues. As you can see, we are heavily dependent on the state when you compare it. That is the reason why we have an issue. Let's go to the next one. The next one is estimated general fund expenditures for fiscal year 2026. Where do we spend our money? Our money is spent to wages, 51%, benefits, 19%, 20% is purchased services, 2% is capital, other is 2%, supplies and materials is 5%. That's where we spend. We are comparable with others when you look into our salaries and benefits. It's not out of whack. Let's go to the other slide. This slide is, I am trying to show you how our expenditures are rising steadily while our revenues are not. So the expenditure in here is really going higher to educate our kids. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide is what it shows is our cash. If we don't receive money, how long can we go with what we have in our unreserved fund balance? As you can see, we can and GFOA recommends 60 days or 2 months of unreserved fund balance. So we have a reservation until 2027, according to GFOA, but in 2028, we fall to less than 30 days of cash. So now, let's discuss on our district financial story overview. The current funding has as guaranteed through 2027. Future funding is still uncertain for 28 and 28 to 30, fiscal year 30, as the fair funding plan is not funded beyond 2027. And the state legislature may change the property tax laws. That's a concern we have. We receive 59.1% of our revenue from the state of Ohio, 31.9% from local services. Future funding should not be impacted by the recent property tax legislation passed on December 19, 2025. Any future property tax legislation could impact our forecast, including a possible ballot initiative to eliminate property tax. We need to try to match our expenditure to our revenue if we are to sustain our ending cash balance long term. If the state cuts and reduces our state funding and severely impacts our ability to raise local funding, our district will need to make cuts or pass a levy. Our revenue and ability to manage the district are under a threat by the Ohio legislature. Under current laws and state funding, we are projecting positive cash balance through 2028 of the forecast. General financial concerns. Total revenue is estimated to grow by less than quarter annually for the next 5 years, while expenditure are estimated to grow 1.5% of each year. Property tax reform, that's a concern. HB 33 continue to fair school funding plan, which we anticipate will continue for 26 and 27 biennium budget. We are guaranteed school. There is no increase for guaranteed schools. Do you have any question?
Any questions?
So you say it didn't materially change from the previous 5-year forecast?
Yes.
So how, I remember we had, I don't have the previous 5-year forecast in front of me, but we were in negative unreserved fund balance June 30th for the last 2 years and the previous also, right?
Yeah, we had that, but what I'm saying is it didn't change. It's the same.
Right.
Because as a matter of fact, it is a little bit better right now. I projected 499 last time.
Okay.
On the 28, on this, the one, and this time 599, so less than 200,000 difference with my projection from October to February.
Okay.
So we are steadily working
And then,
according to our forecast.
okay,
Okay.
I understand. And then the next biennium, are we in the middle of a biennium?
The next biennium will be, we are,
Because
this
you
is
say
our
that-
first
that-
year. This is
We're in the
our-
middle of our first year of
Yes,
the biennium?
yes,
Okay.
we are.
That's all I have for now. Thanks. Thanks for the.
Anyone else?
Okay. If you don't have any question, I have recommendations. I have a recommendation for a vote I recommend the approval of the financial forecast and assumptions.
So moved.
Second.
Call for vote.
Who is,
I,
Ms. Reiner?
Ms. Reiner.
Okay.
Oh, vote.
Okay.
I can see it.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reiner,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7 yeses. Another recommendation I have, I recommend the approval of the treasurer travel.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah,
Call for vote.
okay. President Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7 yeses. Others are for review. Okay, we will go to certificate of estimated resources. And this one is we are trying to approve the increase is for various grant funds, 499, 536, and 590. What it is carryover. We got the carryover money and a new funding. If you don't have any question on that one, I will move to the next one. That is appropriation.
I do have a
This
question
one.
on this.
Go ahead, Ms. Walker.
So last year, is this principal fund balance still with money from other buildings in it, or are the principals not using their principal fund? Like, what actually is, because I thought that when we reallocated this money that it would somehow be used.
Some of them, they are using it, some of it is still there.
Yeah, we also appropriate like a little bit more, so like as we get receipts in, we increase the like actual buildings budgets up. So we don't have to come back like every single month and show you like all of the receipts that we're getting in at the same time, because that would be a lot. So like there's a little bit of like difference between the cash balance and like the total appropriation for principals.
Got it. Okay.
So the increase on this appropriation is general fund. We are increasing it by 900,069. The other ones are, the increase is for student enrollment, that 900. The others are an update for grant funds, what is carry over to school issues.
Okay, another question. What is the difference between, I guess this is the special revenue student managed fund and then the trust student managed fund? Or student activity student managed, yeah.
So the one that's a special revenue is stuff that we get in as a district and it goes to the district and like we kind of manage how to like use that fund. Whereas the one that's in 200, which is the like the agency one, it's not it's not technically ours, like the students manage the funds, and we just like hold on to it for like cash. So like we're like the acting like fiscal agent for it, but we're not the ones determining how to like spend it essentially, is kind of the difference.
Okay, so the one that has the 950,000 appropriation, that usually is spent out from principals or departments?
Yeah, like buildings, so like as they get like specific amounts in and stuff. Kind of like the principal's fund, but specifically related to like more student stuff.
You
Does that
figured
make
out where I
sense?
was going with
Yeah.
that. All right, appreciate you. That's it for me, Dr. Bailey.
Anyone else?
Can I ask?
Mr. Lewis?
Okay, so what was the need for the student enrollment center for 985?
I think they got charged for more than they appropriated, so they asked us to increase.
Yeah, it's the, so it's specifically for the Montgomery County Juvenile Court, for like our students that are there, we're required to pay for, like if they get court mandated there or anything, we have to pay them tuition and stuff. So they needed more money for the rest of the year for like to actually pay it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you're going, required by law, as you know, and Ms. Minor is actively working on trying to figure out how we can reduce that amount through staffing, through curriculum, through some type of alignment with what we're doing academically. We see it's an inexorbitant amount.
I mean, that was one part, but then the other part is how we had the discussion about what could be paid out of if these students are OEC or a special area or something like that fund, or does it always have to be general fund? Or does general fund later get reimbursed those dollars back over from that student?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we had meeting 1 about that.
Okay.
And I'll get back with you after we have meeting 2, because we had to come back and do some homework on our end.
Perfect, appreciate you.
When I mean meeting 1, not our meeting with the juvenile courts.
Yeah, got it.
And we have to come back and do a second one.
Any other questions?
Okay. If you don't have question on that one, we'll go to advances. These are advances from the grant funds to general fund. The grant funds borrow money, and now when they receive the money, they have to repay a general fund. So this is repaying the general fund. Do you have any question on this?
No.
Monthly financial, it's a space holder until the finance committee meets. I have donations. Donations, welcome. Thank you, donors. And it's very good donations. Let's go to minutes. Minutes are for January 13, January 20th, and January 30th for your review. Purchase requisitions, we have several purchase requisitions from different departments. Let's look at them and we'll respond to any questions.
Any questions? Any questions?
I mean, quick question, I mean, is the 1.8 million for juvenile court, is that more than previous years? Is there some reason why we weren't able to know what this was earlier, or why this came
Yes,
up?
it is more than last
It
year.
is more than last year? Is
Yeah.
it just, so are they just charging us more, or are there more students
It must be more
using?
students.
Mr. Lacy, we're also being charged more,
Okay.
hence the meeting. We have several large buckets, and Andrew talked about buckets. One of the buckets for us is the ESC bucket. The other one is juvenile court bucket, and then you've been in finance looking at some of those other buckets, but those are 2 big ones that are part of those contracts where we're trying to reduce by at least 10 to 20%. You're welcome.
Okay. We have Zen and Now. If you have any question on those, let us know. Zen and Now.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I could go back to the purchase requisitions, I do have a question. There are two items, Office Depot, Business Services, and they both say educational materials used in teaching college and career readiness for Dunbar High School. One is for $12,310 and the other is for $11,962. Is there any reason why those are separate? What's the difference between the two of those?
I have to ask Ms. Minor.
With amounts.
They're separate because they came in at different times. So they paid one, and then the next one came in and paid that.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Can I? Is there any way to see any other options for telephone services?
Absolutely. I will make a note of it. Hey, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have we ever put any other bids out for Berkeley County telephone services?
I would say in the 4 years since I've been back, no. And then I was gone for 8, and before that, no.
Thank you. Any other questions, sir?
Okay, we'll go to Zen and Now. Do you have any question on that?
Any questions? Move on.
Okay. If you don't have any question, I will go to contract. I have one contract for shared resources.
And we were paying, if you don't mind, Mr. President, we were paying for like ahead of payroll, and now we're continuing with something else, or no?
Head of payroll.
Okay, what's this for?
This is, they are helping us with, we lost 3 people
Okay.
in payroll, and they've been helping us, and they are, we just hired 3 of them.
Okay.
And on the top of that, now we are trying to automate payroll, and they are going to help us.
You're trying to do what?
Automate. Automate.
Automate,
Yeah.
okay.
Some areas.
Okay.
That's the reason why we are keeping them, and they are, until the payroll people get trained.
All right, thank you.
So once they get trained and we won't see this anymore, we'll be done with this?
Will be done with the training and stuff, yeah. With the automation, we are trying to automate. If there is a need, I might come back.
Thank you.
Because I think his question was, well, will we be done with shared services? Or shared resource center?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That concludes my recommendation for tonight.
Thank you. Business manager recommendation?
Good evening, President Bailey, board members, Superintendent Lawrence, and Treasurer Abraha. The Business Manager's Office is presenting for your review under contracts with Perfection Group.
So that, where does this, Mr. President, if I may?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So where does this put us in our whole HVAC?
So this is what we had called Phase 2B.
Okay.
In Phase 2B, we now, once we start these 3, we will have 2 left, and that would be Cleveland and Meadowdale High School. And then for Phase 3, we have Eastmont, Kaiser, Horace Mann, Kemp, and then our final phase, or or future phase would be Mound Street and then Louise Troy, because the switches were changed at Louise Troy, but not the whole system. So we have more than half of our systems that have been upgraded. And that cycle is about every 15 or 20 years is when it's supposed to happen. But a lot of our systems, we had the software went out of, I started to say out of style. The software, the software
Basically.
became outdated and obsolete. And so we had to make some changes, but that has gotten us through almost all of phase 2B.
Question,
So your-
Dr. Bailey?
Your goal is to finish the final phase. That's
Our
okay.
goal is to get the final, at least through the remainder of 2B and at least starting on 3 sites. We'd like to do that next year. But because of the cost of things have gone up. We were projecting this to be an $8.5 million project. As you can see, it came in at 9.1. So the cost of everything related to all of the equipment and everything has gone up. So our goal is to at least do 3 or 4 next year as well.
And Andrew knows about this.
Yeah, we beg every time we see him.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No,
Are there any?
Ms. Garrison?
I know a few of you guys are newer to the operation side of the house. From you all's history on annual maintenance, was annual maintenance happening with a lot of the HVAC systems to ensure they last the 15 to 20 years?
Yes, and so depending upon who the contract is with, in our systems before, they were proprietary.
Yeah.
So we had to utilize their companies. As we go forward with the contracting, we will bring that maintenance in-house. So we have a annual preventive maintenance schedule.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Mr. Walker?
Is there any way any of this could potentially go into the General Assembly's capital budget ask or grant opportunities?
We can look at it.
Appreciate
I've seen a couple grant opportunities, nothing this big.
Right.
But we are looking for, there is a safety grant. And when the transportation center was built, the HVAC in the mechanic shop was not updated. And so we're looking at a grant for that. And so as I find grants, we're trying to see if we can slide this type of stuff in.
That's a good question. Mr. Ryan and I will be in Columbus next week. We'll bring it up. And also, I mentioned something in my superintendent's update. The treasurer and I talked about the certificate of participation, and the board members will re-review that. That'll really help operations if we can move forward with that certificate of participation. It'll save us millions.
Okay.
How old, thank you, Mr. President, how old are Rivers Edge, Bellhaven, and Edison? I know Rivers Edge is, I think, 2013. When were Bellhaven and Edison built?
I'll have to check the dates on those.
Okay.
I don't have those on my sheet.
I'm just curious. I wasn't sure if you know off the top of your head.
Anyone else?
I will say, while at NSBA, there's a $45,000 energy grant. I'll shoot it your way that they talked about.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, and then the next item that you'll see on the agenda, it says resolution, but there is a recovery center moving across the street from our building at Hyde. And so they send us notice, more of a zoning thing where they want to let us know that there's this recovery center moving into the neighborhood. And so they will be moving in across the street from our building at Hyde. So it's more of an acknowledgement than us actually doing a resolution as if we are agreeing to them coming.
Thank you for that clarification, because I had some questions, but
So, yeah, that's
not
There-
anymore.
There is not a recovery center going into our building on Hyde. That is not happening.
Got it. So that's what this said.
That does kind of read that.
Stretching
so.
these people out.
Yes.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No.
The building, Mr. Lacy asked, what's the building on Hyde?
Huh?
it's not a school.
Your building on Hyde, what is
You
it?
asked our building on Hyde?
What is it?
Oh, it used to be where the cafeteria,
kitchen.
the central kitchen was. And so now that's where IT is housed, as well as Dr. Jones.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New business. Board member travel expense reimbursement.
So moved.
Second.
Call for a vote.
Anyone second it?
Yes.
Ms. Reiner?
Ms. Ryder.
No, I was gonna, hoping nobody second. Petty like that.
It's DC.
Okay. President Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7 yeses.
All right. Board member comments, board member comments. Ms. Garrison? What's up, Bill?
The shade, let me just say that shade is because Dunbar plays Belmont tonight, and they're gonna come through, the Wolverines will come through with a win. But, my comment, I wanted to give a shout out to Kenny Bozeman of Bose Image in Inglewood, former Dunbar Wolverine alum. He has gifted the board some gift cards for our male and female athletes. And I'll work with Ms. Jones to, and probably superintendent, to kind of see who our scholarly athletes are that can be recipients of these gift cards. So just wanted to give a shout out to Boomer, who used to play basketball for the Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School and has contributed to our students' success with his image shop and consulting out in Inglewood. So thank you for that. And thank everyone for the presentations. So excited to hear about everything happening with our students academically. Thank you, Dr. Lawrence, for looking at a way to highlight that as we look to attract more students to the district in partnership with City of Dayton and Montgomery County to retain residents and continue to grow our future pipeline workforce right here in the Dayton region. And that's all I have. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you. Mr. Lacy?
Yes, last week I attended an exciting audit committee meeting where we went over the projects that have been going on in the audit committee, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reiner?
I have nothing this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Smith, did you change your mind?
I have brief comments today, sir, just very brief. First, I want to echo Mr. Lacy. We had a great audit committee meeting. I want to lift up our district auditor, Ms. Hamilton, on the work that she does and the committee that she's put together. It's really insightful being around a lot of people who are in that space and that have some real good comments about some of the things that she brings to the district, and I just want to say I appreciate that work. Met with our state senator, Mr. Willis Blackshear. Been having great conversations with him. I know Dr. Lawrence is having something set up with him pretty soon as well. So, and I want to just publicly give him kudos, as well as Miss Desiree Timms. Just seeing them being present at a lot of our student events. I think that one of the biggest things that we can give our students and our staff is our presence, and not just showing up. A lot of times people see people, especially in our roles in that political realm, a lot of people show up and then they leave and there's really no interaction. And people notice those things. People notice when you're there, but you're not really there. I want to say it was awesome to see State Rep Timms, on the mic at the Dunbar game, letting people know that they're there. And so I really love that. I love seeing our board members and our district staff out at events, whether it be a science fair, math Olympics, a sports event. So I really just want us to understand what it's like to really be there. And I know sometimes we have scheduling and we have to come in and out, but people really notice when you're really there or if you're there to be there. Next, I will say we had a great athletics committee meeting recently, and looking at just what the landscape of athletics looks like. I know I really value the things that athletics and extracurriculars can bring to our district, and I also understand, you know, the growth that we can have from a financial aspect, and then a growth from just the socio-emotional piece, getting our students out. It was a great time seeing the students at Ponence yesterday. Like, they were really excited during their game, so that's awesome. Yeah, I said just schools today. Then for Black History Month, I really want us to really dive into the history of our area. And with that, very briefly, I wanted to just lift up 3 names from this place. One, Miss Ethel Stewart, who retired in, I want to say 1954, but spent 41 years in Dayton Public Schools. And to see somebody who spent that much time in a district back when there was so much racial strife in our community. She was actually the one, after the death of Miss Louise Troy, who started the Louise Troy Club, which then led to Louise Troy being named after her. And for me, that is so important, to recognize the people that always aren't remembered with their name on a building, but who lift up people to make sure that they honor the people that came before them. She was the first Black degreed librarian in the city of Dayton, where she graduated from Western Reserve, which later became Case Western Reserve. She was over at Dunbar after being at Garfield. She started the largest school library in the city of Dayton and had the largest collection for students of Black authored books in the city. So I want to lift her up. Secondly, Miss Joni West, who was my gifted teacher at E.J. Brown and really just taught me how to think outside the box. And she did that for so many students. I look back recently at our gifted picture, I want to say from 3rd grade, and I can look through that and point out colleges. And I can go, this person went to Brown, this person went to Cornell, this person went to Wright State, this person went to Xavier, this person went to UD. And she put that in us at a young age and said, you're going to be something. And so I really want to lift her up. And she really taught us how to be in that space. She taught for over 30 years here in Dayton Public Schools. She taught not only gifted, but special education. So seeing that she really ranged in her career. And lastly, my favorite person that I ever came across in Dayton Public School was Miss Vera Hill. And Vera Hill was the greatest Math Olympics coach ever in the city of Dayton. There was a span of where she won 4 straight. There was another span where she never finished under 3rd place for around 8 years. Vera Hill was amazing. I don't know how she would be in this space because, you know, I can say that now because statute of limitations are gone, but Miss Vera Hill was going to crack the whip a little bit. She definitely pulled my earlobes a few times to get me to go where I was supposed to be, but that's how I got involved in Math Olympics. She went and got me off the wall in detention and said, you're too smart to be sitting on this wall. Come on, you're in here. No parent permission slip. It was, this is what you're going to do. And she called my grandma and said, this is what you're going to do. So I really think that being in that space, I just wanted to lift those people up because those are people that really play a part in shaping the history of our city and the history of our nation when we talk about the people that have come from Dayton and gone on to do great things. So in this time in Black history, please lift up our people. And I specifically wanted to raise up 3 Black women, because Black women have been the backbone of the movements in education in our community throughout time in Dayton. And so I want us to honor that. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me that space. And go Meadowdale.
Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Mr. President. So for me, under my name, there's at least 8 different things. But Ms. Kidd has been working with me on this all day. So I do have a board member update on there that highlights all of that. But just a few things. Attended the District Science Fair last week, as well as Success Looks Like Me. The District Science Fair was great. The thing that I enjoyed the most, though, was the Project Life Room with the bunny. It's my favorite place now. Like, I love it. I would never get one, but I do love that they have that. I do want to highlight that we did have a great first student after-school activity and workforce committee meeting of this year. We have an ELL committee that I did not do anything with last year, but we will be doing stuff this year, so looking forward to that. And then lastly for me, the legislative lunch will be coming up on February 23rd. I'm looking forward to gathering with legislative our legislators across the state and talk about things that are affecting public education, which in my update, you will see all bills currently in committee of the Senate or committee of the House, since they are back in legislation that effectively affects public schools. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Woods?
Anywho, today Student Senate spoke with Dr. Amber Johnson, who is a physical therapist at Miami Valley North. We were able to tour the sport therapy area, private therapy rooms, and the general therapy area. She allowed us to do a hands-on activity that included reducing blood flow to help restore muscle strength to an injured area. We also learned what a physical therapist actually is, their skills, their typical workday, and the different methods of physical therapy, the pros and cons of the job, and how physical therapy actually is important in the medical field. I also wanted to put out there that I just received another scholarship to whatever college I want to go to. And I also received 2 new job offers that I plan to take really good action with. Thank you.
Did you get the Scholarship Connect? Lincoln Foundation.
Good evening, board members. I am thrilled to give a couple of quick updates and just thanks. I do want to thank the audit committee for meeting last week. I always love the quarterly discussions because I get so much feedback from my own department and for what we can continue to improve. But then also just seeing the community come around DPS in such a great way it's a different skill set, but they want to be able to provide it and they want to be able to serve and to really give back to kids, even if it's in an indirect way. Speaking of kids, I was able to go to Who's in the Jersey event last Thursday. That was so fun. I realized that I really need to be out there for way more events. Whether it is for, in an athletic event or whether it was an academic event, because just seeing our kids, even if it's in a snapshot of one event, was just so powerful. And it was great to see, specifically that event was for women to pour into both maybe men and women as our students. And it was just so exciting to see how the community was giving back in that way as well. So that was really exciting. I definitely have put a couple of other events, academic and athletic events, on my calendar because that was just, I realized I haven't been doing enough of that. And then I also just wanted to acknowledge that our department was reestablished last January. And so it's been a full year and there's been so much that's been done in a year, and I'm really proud of both my team, but then also the way that management has continued to do the work that they do well, and continue to refine, continue to push themselves forward, which continues to put the district forward. And so I think it's been really great to partner with the leaders of the district. And so I think that because we've been here a year, it means that they've continued to have a lot of other things to juggle. And I want to acknowledge that, but also thank them. So that was the other thing, and that's it for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Benson?
Thank you. Just briefly, just want to say that was a lot of snow on the ground. And so I got to give a shout out to the grounds department that not only were they clearing our sidewalks, but they worked with the city and they were clearing the streets around the schools. Because everybody recognized that they didn't have the capacity to make sure we got to school. So they were working 12, I think the number is 12 guys working 12-hour days to make sure that happened. I want to give a shout out to the mechanics. I worked with Dr. Lawrence to make sure that the mechanics were able to come in as essential staff. And to work with the grounds. They had to move all the buses to one side of the parking lot, then shovel the other side of the parking lot. The mechanics had to charge the buses every single day, and we finally had to keep them running on Sunday night. And the SROs had to come in so that we could make sure the kids were here on Monday. So the grounds team, the mechanics, did an amazing job with all that snow. On Wednesday, that's that third day of calamity, we worked with Chief Jones, Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Jones, to determine that we were going to move forward with sports. Again, that required people who thought they were going to be sitting at home for the next few days to show up. And so our logistics specialist showed up to make sure that all of the athletic events were covered for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Our bus driver showed up, and again, the mechanics and the grounds making sure that it was done. So just want to thank our entire team for that. Have to give a shout out for the science fair. My granddaughter Bella is a second grader. And she came in third place, and she was so excited that second graders were able to participate. And so she was really happy about that. And shout out to Mr. Walusha, because over at River's Edge, and he really works with the young kids and makes sure that they're engaged in STEM and science. And I've been in the library with him, so he's doing a fabulous job with the young people. And then shout out to our custodians and everybody who helped get us together, logistics specialists, our carpenters who built the amazing table scene, stage setting for Who's in the Jersey. I won't talk about how great it is. Sarah did that, but it's just with so many people that put in so much work along with Chief Jones to make that happen. And our community members who come out for free to spend that time with our young athletes and encourage them to go through a lot of the struggles that they see on and off the court. And so we're just appreciative for everybody who came together to make that event a success. Thank you.
Mr. Braun?
I would like to congratulate my payroll and accounts payable for working through all these snow days. They did their 1099 and W-2s on time and paying the people with no issues. It is a big I try to congratulate them.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Lawrence?
I just want to go back to the science fair briefly and say that I want to recognize Rosa Parks, Westwood, and Ruskin as outliers, but the outlier of all outliers was Charity. They must have won 8, 9, 10 awards. Every time you looked up, the principal and the kid were back. So they took the science fair seriously. It's an extension of the learning that we do. And this also demonstrates, as Ms. Garrison said earlier, some of our academic work, and it demonstrates it to the community. So it's good when schools, principals, teachers take those type of events seriously, because it shows what we can do in public. So kudos to those first 3 schools, Rosa, Westwood, and Ruskin, but a huge shout out to our outlier Charity. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Never. And then I want to thank board members for we pivoted our leadership team, and we're really focusing on committee work, and it has been really fun to dive into committees, sit with you for an hour, 90 minutes, sometimes 2, and go through some of the complexities of the details that we deal with every day to try to understand from your point of view with the community what you're hearing, and from what we have to do from a logistical and a technical standpoint. So thank you for really diving into the committee work. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. For me, of course, I'm going to represent Belmont because I graduated from there just a couple of years ago. But I really want to see a great game tonight. I want to see our kids competing against each other. It's great to see our kids get out here. Our students, how do you call them kids? Our students come out here and just compete, get them off of their Xboxes and things like that, and get out here and get some good exercise and have fun with each other. So I'm really looking forward to that. I do also want to thank the board members. As president, I've called on a little bit of everybody, and everybody's been open and ready to help. No bickering or anything like that. So it's been just really good. I also want to thank the grounds crew as well. They were excellent. Greatly appreciated. I think that is all I have. Pursuant to section 121.22B of the Ohio Revised Code, I move that this board go into executive session. This meeting is being held to consider the employment of a public employee.
Second. No.
Go ahead.
No. No.
I move to, go ahead.
She got to do the roll call first.
Roll call.
President Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Garrison,
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
7 yeses.
You got to wait till she say it.
Sorry.
Hey,